So it's no wonder the government should be scared of us, okay? That's why it was said a government of the people, by the people, for the people. Because the government derives its power from us, not the other way around. So, having said all that, let's get into a little nuts and bolts of it here. Okay, first let's talk a little bit about the Constitution in the background. It was written and ratified by the Founding Fathers, who had a common history. They had been through the war with Britain, they'd been through wars with France. Pretty much all of them were born over in Europe and came over here, so they understood that mentality, they understood that thought process. They also shared certain core principles, like a belief in God, and that the human being had what they defined and what they put in the papers as certain inalienable rights: life, liberty, this pursuit of happiness. These are things that we are born with. These are not gifts that are given to us by the government. Our parents don't give them to us. We are born with these things. Okay, nobody can take them away. The only way we lose them is if we give them up. The writing of a constitution was not something, like I said earlier, that they just, let's sit down and write a constitution. It sounds like fun. Let us do it. Let's start a country. What the heck? There was a long history. All right. The British developed a tradition of anything that had to do with any kind of a constitution, and a constitution being something that not only formed and ran a government, but protected the rights of the citizens. Okay, the British have always been very, very cognizant of that. A lot of people don't realize that. So Henry I wrote a charter about 1100. It's 100 years before the Magna Carta. Yeah, I didn't know that. You thought the Magna Carta was the first one, didn't you? See, you learned something. I love it when that happens. Gold star, right to the head of the class. All right, then they had come up with the Petition of Rights. They had a couple of them, the Instrument of Government and the Humble Petition. These were kind of some short-lived constitutions that they tried. Didn't really work out. But the long and short of it is, there's a developed history on how to develop constitutions regarding government. Not only its authority, but what it can't do. And what it can't do, the people can. That's the distinction between the two of them. So we bring that over here. Mayflower Compact, 1620. Fundamental Orders of Connecticut, Massachusetts, original state constitutions, Virginia Declaration of Rights, which, oh, by the way, was one of the big documents that the Founding Fathers used in development of the Constitution. So, we've established that the Founding Fathers had a history, had a tradition, knew how to write constitutions. They had legal basis, they had practical basis, they had the expertise. So what's this whole thing about a convention? What's that all about? Again, it's a British tradition. A convention was simply called together when it felt that there was something that had to be changed. Okay? And basically all it was the people at the convention, or the people writ large, theoretically took back all that power that they gave to the government, and they rearranged it. They did whatever they needed to do to fix it. Okay? Today we call them amendments. Okay? But that's what they did. They would theoretically take the power back, government no longer could do anything, they'd fix whatever fixed, became an amendment, back to the Constitution. Okay, government, this is your new power. Pretty simple and straightforward, right? So, guess what? We brought that over here with us too. We actually used a few of the conventions, New York, New Jersey, and South Carolina. Actually used them to displace the royalist governments that were here. Damn Tories anyway. Get rid of them. We can run our own place, right? Okay. Virginia used it to call the representatives in Congress and said, hey, we think independence as a country is a good idea. You should have proposed that. Okay? So 10 years later at the Annapolis Convention, a couple of the states get together to kind of talk about this and kind of work some of the problems out with the Articles of Confederation. Everybody remembers those, right? Yeah, that preceded the Constitution. Okay, that was the original piece of paper that started the whole government, was the Articles of Confederation. Well, after a while they realized, this isn't quite working so well. There's a lot of things that we have to address. So the Annapolis Convention called the states and said, hey, we need to have another convention of states to fix the basic problems. They got together, and voila, what did we wind up with? Yes, yes, you all go to the head of the class. I love dealing with smart groups. You guys are amazing. I love you. Woohoo! Okay, so how many remember that television show? Huh? What was the basis of it, sir? Okay, exactly. They would give certain clues to a profession or a career or whatever, and the panel had to guess, right? Which one was the real whomever, you know? And then would the real Mr. whatever stand up? Okay, so you're probably wondering, why is this slide like this? Why am I asking the real Constitution to stand up? Well, the reason is, unbeknownst to everyone, we have two constitutions. Now wait a minute. Founding Fathers only built one, right? So where did the other one come from? Sir? Bingo! God, you didn't tell me you had like geniuses in here. These guys are brilliant. Yes, sir, you are absolutely right. Over the years, the Supreme Court and other politicians who get their fingers in the pie have changed the meaning of the Constitution. All right? They have said, no, it should read this. No, it reads this. Well, but it's really, you know, you have to take it into consideration of the modern times and everything. Is oh, gee, Merry Christmas, people. It's real simple. The Constitution is 4,436 words. It takes about 20 minutes for a person to read it, roughly, okay? Declaration of Independence, you can read in about 10 minutes. Okay, they're not real big documents. And in essence, they're not terribly difficult to understand. You don't have to be a lawyer, okay? The problem is the Supreme Court over the years, and starting back in about the 1940s when they started making certain court decisions, and we're not going to go into all that because I'm not bore you guys with all that kind of stuff. They started interpreting the original intent of the Founding Fathers based on what they felt. Personal feelings started getting involved. The situation of the time, well, what do we do? What's going to be popular? What should we do that'll get us the most votes? I don't know. What do you think? Yeah, let's do this one. Okay? That's what sent us down the rabbit hole, folks. That is why we now have a second constitution, what some call the shadow constitution. All right? How many people can tell me how big the tax code is? Oh my God, people are getting headaches just thinking about it. It's ginormous. I got that word from my son-in-law. Apparently it's from a kid's movie or something.
Every day the Congress is in session, it gets longer.
Exactly right. Why would they do that? Why would they do that? It's a mechanism. Exactly. It's a mechanism to keep power. As I mentioned before, I love the Founding Fathers. I think they were just absolutely brilliant. They knew this day was going to come. They didn't design political offices as a lifetime career. Okay? No, they wouldn't have even thought about that. Okay? We've got politicians that have been in there 30, 40, 50 years. I mean, who's the longest politician that you know that's been in any office? McCain? Yeah.
The one from the East Coast that was there until he was over 100.
Wayne Thurman.
Yeah.
Almost 80 years. 80 years? Dude, get a life. Go to the beach or something. You know? The only thing something like that does, okay, and this is Dennis standing to the side, voicing opinion based on research, okay? All they're doing is collecting their little power clicks, you know, whatever they can do to keep themselves going. They've lost sight of those of us that have put them there. Founding Fathers didn't want that. God, they just, you know, go in there and do a couple years, do what you got to do, and, you know, get back to the farm. Washington tried to do it twice. He said, dude, I just want to go back to my ranch, run with my horses. You know, when they tried to offer him to the president the third time, he said, no, I've had enough. I miss my grandkids. You know, I need to get my wooden teeth fixed. You know, whatever the case. But no, the political offices were never designed to be a lifetime achievement. And that's what they made it, and that's where the problem lies.